Eep. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Hi, everybody. Feels like it's been 17 years since I last streamed. It's only been 3 days. Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing well. What's up, Gaming Ghost Gal? Hope you're doing sweet. Hope you're doing sweet. I'm doing sweet. Today's a good day. Today is a good day. Gonna play some Krubby. A minor thing. My apartment has been on the upswing. The elevator is no longer broken. It's been fixed for like a week, but still. And the lights in my in the hallway right outside my room have been busted for like a month now. They weren't like, the light bulbs weren't burnt out. It was actually a problem with the wiring. But they're fixed now. I can see my fucking keys. I can see my fucking keys when I'm unlocking my door. Welcome back. Thank you, Alcor. I apologize. I didn't say hi to you a second ago. Sorry. Hi, Alcor. Glad you can hop in. But yeah, I can see my keys now. Wonderful. But yeah, this week is weird for a number of reasons that I went over on Sunday. Saturday, I have a collab. I will not be live here, but it'll be on Area Beal's channel. I'm still wearing my watch. I don't need to be wearing this shit. I'll be interviewed, and I will be teaching them how to play Street Fighter. It'll be a great time. But the reason I did not stream yesterday like I usually do is because I went to jury duty. It wasn't that bad. It was kind of probably the best jury duty experience I could have possibly had, considering not only was I summoned, I was also selected to be on the jury. And the judge, and now that my service is over, I'm allowed to spill all the deets. I can tell you everything I can tell you everything I want now. I mean, I won't tell you the boring stuff or the doxy stuff. I don't think. I don't know. I'll probably say something that'll dox me. But hey, never mind. Hey, it's fine. All right, so let's see. How did it start? How did it begin? Because this was actually a pretty entertaining thing. You were summoned and selected and was selected to read the verdict. Ooh, I didn't get that far, but I will tell you why. So I was brought in. First of all, I do want to say that I've been selected. I've been summoned for jury duty once before, back when I lived in Florida, and this was absolutely nothing like that. When I was first summoned back in Florida, this was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Nobody even talked to me. I literally came in, I sat in a room with everybody else who was summoned. I sat in the back while the attorneys talked to like 12 other people. And it was some civil dispute over like insurance or something. It looked dreadfully boring, and nobody even talked to me. I was just like, yep, these people have been selected, you can go home. I was like, oh, okay, fine. You assume it was sort of civil case? In Florida, it was, but the immediate the immediate cogs in my head started turning when I learned this was a criminal case that I was brought in for. So that made it a little bit more interesting. It was a criminal case. So I was like, oh, that's automatically interesting. Somebody got hurt. Wow. So yeah, we were brought in. There was like the big auditorium with a whole bunch of other people who were brought in for various different cases. I was called in, and along with 29 other people, I was the 30th. I was actually juror number 30. That's what I remember. And then we were brought into the courtroom. We met the judge. We met the counsel, the attorneys for both sides. Hey, why am I blocking this? Jack of Spades 39, thank you for the follow. Very kind of you. Went for 2 days too long. The defense lawyer looked like a young Michael J. Fox. Interesting. Yeah, mine was a criminal case. It was okay, so the guy stole a car and was violating bond. Hello, swinging by, glad you can hop in. So yeah, guy was violating bond, stole a car, and sent the cops on like a high-speed chase, which I saw footage of. It was kind of intense. And then he like crashed, he tried to run away, he was chased down by the cops, he like collided with one of the cops, and which led to him breaking his ankle, and then he was finally arrested. So we saw the footage, like the dash cam footage and the body cam footage of all of that. But that's getting a bit far ahead. Because let's go back to the selection process. We all introduced ourselves. We had to say our name, our occupation. I of course said online clown. I didn't. And then we were interviewed by we weren't all interviewed by the attorneys from both sides, both representing the attorney representing the state and the attorney, like the defense attorney assigned to represent the defendant. Basically going over stuff like, have you ever had an experience with a reckless driver? And would that give you any bias that would make you an unfair party to be on this jury? And a few people were like, yeah. There was this one lady who talked about how like her son was in a pretty serious car accident, but was very unharmed. But like she was talking like he was harmed. Like she was about to break down crying. But apparently according to her, he wasn't injured in that accident. And then later, she was asked by the defense attorney, the defense attorney asked in general, it's like, this guy has not been he has not been convicted of anything yet. These are only charges. Does anybody in here look at this situation and think, oh, he must have done something, right? That he must be here because he must have done something. That same lady raised her hand and she was like, well, why did he run away from the police? Like, why did he do that? And the defense attorney had to be like, ma'am, he has been accused of this. He has not been found guilty of these things. Yeah, but why did he do it then? Needless to say, she was not chosen. And then there was this one guy who was like, I respect the schnards on this man. He was an older guy, longish hair. When he was given the microphone to introduce himself, he was like, yeah, my name is what's so-and-so. Yeah, I'm retired. And then he answered like 2 of the 6 questions I asked we were asked to answer. And then like the judge was like, okay, well, do you have experience on a jury before? And he was like, no, I do not. And I do not want to either. So the judge was like, okay, next person, please. I was like, yeah, man, I wish I had the fucking gonards to do that. Like, again, he was not selected. And I was like, wow, it's that easy. It's that easy. Just say you don't want to be there. I should have done that, but I'm too much of a weenie to make any amount of ass out of myself in front of others. Let's see what else. Oh yeah. Obviously one of the, this was a situation where the guy was evading police and he injured a police officer. So another person, like when generally asked, like, do you have any prejudices in this situation that would lead to you to be to be a biased juror? There's this one girl, she had to be like early 20s, very liberal looking, if you know what I mean. And that's not a slight against her, obviously. Anybody knows that. It's not a slight against her at all. She was given the microphone and was like, I don't like cops and I don't trust them. And that was the end of that. She was also not selected. Fair enough. Again, like, I wish I had the gonards to do that. Because in my situation, I'm not sure it'd be entirely a lie either, but still. She was not selected. And And I was I theorized that the reason I was selected for the final jury was because I didn't say shit. I introduced myself and didn't say anything else. I didn't object to any of the attorney's questions. I didn't say I had any prejudices or anything of the sort. So they were like, yeah, that guy's fine. Let him on. My mom just walked in. As you said, I wish I had the gonards to do that. Well, it's true. I do. Thank you. I wish I had such testicles in order to just say I don't want to be here for jury duty. I am biased against the police. You know, one of my friends just said, "Oh yeah, just say you're racist." And the defendant was a black man, so I probably could have gotten away with that. But I don't want to do that. Like I mentioned it actually like during like our between times. I was talking about it to the other jurors, and I was like, this is like a cartoon Springfield Simpsons ass scenario for it to happen, but I'm just terrified of doing that, like saying, oh yeah, I'm racist, or I don't like the example I gave to be a little bit more lighthearted with it, with the jurors, like, oh, I hate bald people, because the defendant was also bald. So I was just afraid of like being let off of jury and then me walking down the street and some rando saying, that's him, he's the guy who hates bald people, let's get him, fellas. Like, I'm afraid of that like cartoon Simpsons scenario happening to me, so I'm not gonna do that, even though I'm never gonna see any of these people again. You know, I'd rather people not think I'm racist, just in general. I'd rather avoid that thought being in anybody's head. So how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? I love the bald people. Yeah, basically that. Like SpongeBob Simpsons like logic, where like you just gain this reputation around town despite being a total schmuck and no one would care about otherwise. It's like, that's the racist clown, get him. Got by the woke mob. Oh god. Oh no. Sorry, I'm sad at this song now. It's a good song though, so I'm not gonna skip it. Anyway, I'm gonna continue telling my humorous stories. So like reason number like 2 as to how this was like the best possible jury duty experience. Reason number 1 being it being a criminal case and therefore more interesting than a boring ass insurance dispute civil case. Secondly, the judge had a meeting to go to like that afternoon when the jury was officially selected. So we got to go home at like 11:30. I was at the courthouse from like 7 to 11, and then I got to go home. So that was nice. I only got a half a day. Wonderful. And then I went home. I had the day off of work. They gave me paid time off for jury duty. And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck around. I'm gonna edit some videos. Like, yeah, great. I was exhausted because I walked to and from there both days. I could have taken the bus, but to be honest, the weather was fucking lovely, so I didn't want to. All right, guilty. I got a meaning to guilty. No, the case wasn't over. It was just after the jury selection process. And Jelly, thank you for the 3 months. Thank you so much. You're a Chad. Okay, so that was the end of day 1. Day 2. Oh yeah, another thing. The judge was very upfront about, like, before we even saw any evidence, the judge was very upfront about, guys, just letting you know, this is gonna be a short trial. We're being real. This is gonna be a short trial. The judge was fucking cool as hell. Like, I don't know if judges have the same kind of reputation as cops, where if you say too many nice things about cops, people look at you weird and are like, are you on our side? But I something about judges, like, I've seen so many like charismatic and like badass judges, and she was absolutely one of them. She was a very fucking cool person, like very real, very clearly very intelligent. very casual for the most part. Like, she was just so honest about, like, guys, this is gonna be a short trial. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. Like, you could say that it's, you know, you could say that that was, like, influencing us in some way. Like, I could see that argument, but also I saw the evidence and, like, I could see why she thought that. All right, day 2. We were all gathered in a room. We were told to report to this room by this time, and she was like, don't be late because the case cannot resume until everybody is here. One guy was 45 minutes late. And one thing I don't even understand, I don't know what happened, because he came in, he seemed like distraught. He was another older guy, seemed a little anxious. Like, he made it in 45 minutes late. The bailiff, like, brought him back out of the room. It's like, hey, can you come with me for a second? And then I never saw him again. I don't know what happened to him. So we were just like one person short for this jury. And I'm like, what? I don't know how that affected anything, how that was supposed to affect anything. Well, I just never saw him again. I'm going to, like, best case scenario, in a way, is that, like, maybe he had something personal going on, like a sudden thing where he couldn't make it to jury duty, and then he was called and like, hey dude, where are you? And then he came in and then he explained, like, oh man, something's happening in my personal life. I really didn't think I could make it today. And then he was just let to go home. Like, that's my guess. I assume that he was not, like, arrested or anything, because I do not believe missing jury duty is an arrestable offense. So, yeah. But while we were waiting for him, while we were waiting for that 45 minutes, I was just chatting with all of the other people on the jury. And dude, these people were cool as fuck. Like, just super chatty and like funny and cool to be around. And we were all just kind of cracking jokes within the, you know, within our rights. Like, we were not allowed to discuss the trial or any specifics of it outside of the courtroom until deliberation time. But we were just cracking jokes, and we were like bitching about the lack of refreshments. Because here is the refreshments that we were given as we were waiting for the trial to start. We had a water fountain, obviously. We had a Keurig, okay, with some Dunkin' Donuts coffee, okay. Sugar packets, fine. And a mini fridge, which had basically nothing in it but creamer, or half and half even, half and half. And then we look at the date on the half and half, and it expired last week. So we're like, hey, who wants some coffee with sugar and expired creamer? And the judge, like, on numerous occasions, like between like when she sent us out for recess and like when she sent us home at the end of the second day, she just kept apologizing for the expired creamer. Like, dude, you're not a customer service rep. This is A, probably not your fault, and B, there's nothing we can do about it. It's not like we can complain to the fucking courthouse and it's like, ah man, they expired creamer. Don't go to that courthouse as if you have a fucking choice. Like rotten coffee to wake you up. I mean, nobody used the half and half, to be fair. A lot of people still dealt with the coffee, even though it was probably not very sweet. I did not have any. I need at least some creamer in my coffee if I'm going to enjoy it at all. I didn't have any of the coffee, so I can't talk about the quality of the coffee itself. But like, there was... So basically, like, we also had to refill the water in the Keurig, and basically just one person did that. One person took a cup, walked back and forth from the water fountain to the Keurig. It took like 5 cups of like coffee cups to took 5 coffee cups to fill up this thing. We just watched her do it, and we were like, yeah, thanks for the help, lady. Thanks for the help at getting us our coffee. And she was like, y'all can help me, you know. We could get this done a little bit faster. And everyone was like, nah. It was all in jest, obviously. But yeah, then, yep. They got their coffee. We continued joking. It was really cool. Everyone was fun to talk to. And that only a coin flip if you get sick from it. Exactly. Why didn't we just drink it? I do not like pumpkin spice. Like, this is how I've always described it. Because I like pumpkin flavored things. I love pumpkin pie. It's not like it's the pumpkin flavor that does it for me. But like, whenever I drink a pumpkin spice drink, this is how I describe it. It feels like somebody just ate a pumpkin pie and then breathed into my mouth. That's what the sensation of it feels like. It's weird. I do not like it. But yeah, I digress. So, like, an hour after we get there, and after we were told to be there, we were finally sent in. And, the judge explains the charges set forth against the defendant and the requirements that must be met in order for us to call him guilty for each of the charges. It was like, and like reckless driving, endangerment of an officer, resisting arrest, stuff like that. And then we got up here, and the attorney for the state made his opening statement first, and he was like, "You're gonna see everything in the evidence. You're gonna see the evidence that shows that this guy is clearly guilty. That'll be all." Like, that wasn't like obviously his opening statement was a little bit more eloquent than that, but that was basically what he said. And then, the poor defense attorney. I think he was one of those like state appointed defense attorneys for this guy. He was an older guy, and I really don't want to make fun of him like too much, because he's an older guy. He's a lawyer, clearly very experienced lawyer, clearly very intelligent guy. But man, I think he was just given a rough hand, because he came up, his opening statement was basically, well, take a look at be sure you look at the evidence. Body cam footage is kind of shaky, so how are we even really gonna know it's this guy, right? How are we even really gonna know it's this guy, right? I looked at the footage, it was very clearly that guy. But yeah, anyway, guy was just really given a rough hand because this guy was very clearly guilty. I already described what we saw in the evidence, and those two bits of footage, the dash cam footage and the body cam footage, were all that we were shown. And it was very clear that not only was the guy in the courtroom, the guy accused, clearly the guy behind the wheel of that car that was going 100 miles an hour down the freeway and like 60 miles an hour down residential streets, like swerving around. Are you able to say what he did? Yeah. I think he just got here, so I'll go ahead and go over it again. We saw everything that he did. Essentially, he was arrested for a different charge before. I don't know if they said what the charge was, because I think that in a situation like this, that's not relevant, because that's not what we are judging him on now. So he apparently stole a vehicle. The cops, the police officer on the beat at like 3 a.m. recognized the stolen vehicle and then went on a chase. He parked, like the policeman parked in a gas station to try to head him off. So when he saw him drive by, he turned on his lights, started chasing him, and dude sped up. Dude fucking vroom, just fucking floored it and started driving like a fucking maniac. Kind of impressive, honestly, because he was like, there was not a lot of traffic. The streets were pretty empty. It was 3 a.m, but still, he was driving really fast and very well. Like, the cops were, keeping up with him, obviously. Love the energy you're telling the story. It's exciting. Thanks. I'm trying, because I don't want to just sit here and be like, yeah, anyway, so, we saw the footage. He was driving a car and it was very fast, I'm an entertainer. God dang it, I'm a clown. Honk, honk. But yeah, dude fucking floored it, drove up the interstate. I think it was, I don't need to say what interstate it was, but yeah, going over 100 miles an hour on the interstate. You could hear the officer like commentating it basically over the radio, like saying, Like, yep, we're still in pursuit. Speed's reaching 100 miles an hour. No traffic. Roads are dry, etc. And then he took an exit. And then he started driving through supremely fucking narrow residential streets. And if you live in a place like this, like Milwaukee, like, there's not parking lots. Everyone's parked on the street. So there's basically just enough room for one car to be going down these roads. So this guy was going like 60 miles an hour down a road like that. Super fucking dangerous. Super dangerous. But it was exciting to watch. I'm gonna be real. Like, it was a high-speed car chase. You know, you need to be a real boring old biddy in order to not find that, look at that and be like, wow, that's kind of cool. Obviously, it wasn't, like, in reality, it wasn't a cool thing to happen, because he could have hurt somebody, could have killed somebody, could have killed himself. But still, it was fun to watch in a very, like, unga bunga caveman kind of way. So eventually, the dude made a wrong move and crashed into a parked car. It wasn't that hard. You know, he was not going, it was probably going like 20, 30 miles an hour when he impacted the parked vehicle. So then he got out, tried to run. Then that's when we switched to the body cam footage. The officer started chasing him. He had his gun out. It was not pointed at it. No shots were fired. It wasn't pointing at that guy. No shots were fired at any point during this altercation. But then, like, the defendant, like, gave him the slip, and he literally gave him the slip. Like, the cop tripped and fell, and then got up and started chasing him again. And then there was this one other guy who was just like a bystander or something, who was trying to help out in some way. Like, and it looked like the police officer who was wearing the body cam nearly fucking ran into this guy. I don't know what he was doing. It seemed like he wanted to help. He wasn't like trying to get in the way or anything. He was not otherwise involved in the situation, but like, he was like right, you could see him in the camera. He was like right between the officer and the defendant, and he tried to get out of the way, and he did, thankfully. But at one point as well, the defendant, apparently, this part was pretty unclear. And if I'm going to be real, it's like the one part where I had a reasonable doubt. And that is when he injured this other officer by breaking his ankle. I did not see anything that would, you know, I think he may have just been reckless and ran into him. Did he ever offer rationale for what he did? He did not testify. That's the good thing about, you know, that's a good thing about the country. You are under no requirement to testify against yourself or in favor of yourself. He did not testify at all. So I do not know what his rationale was. I did not hear him speak a word during the trial. So yeah, he collided with an officer. His ankle ended up breaking. I personally did not see any crimely actions that would have led to the broken ankle. So if there was any charge that I was willing to give him a not guilty on, it was that, which is the endangerment of an officer. Because, I mean, I may have been able to watch it again. I believe that during deliberation, I would have been allowed to, like, rewatch that footage. So I would have needed to do that. But I didn't see anything that said that that was directly his fault. Could have testified to reduce the culpability if it's clear that he did it. Could at least downplay why he did it. I think, from my understanding, which is very basic understanding of legal proceedings, I think that lawyers and defense attorneys will typically discourage you from testifying unless you have to. Well, you don't have to. That's like, you legally do not have to do that. I think that defense attorneys will generally discourage you from doing that. I think it's just a bad idea. So I don't know what, but that's irrelevant due to a detail I'll get to in a minute. So yeah, after that, this is all done while the officer whose body cam footage we're looking at was brought up as a witness, and he basically answered very basic questions like, did you see? You described the individual as like a black male with wearing a blue hoodie. And do you know who that was? Is that person in the courtroom today? Can you point to him? Yada, yada. Like, just very basic, like, questions that are very obvious to anybody, but probably just need to be asked for one reason or another. So basically, once the footage ended, like the relevant part, it ended basically once the officer tackled him and got him on the ground and put him in cuffs. That's basically where the footage ended. And then you saw that mysterious third party holding the ankle of the officer whose ankle was broken. So he was trying to help out the officer, I guess. Like, that's the last thing you see. Really advisable to testify in your own defense, but if your defense is that you did do it, but it wasn't illegal / wasn't that bad. It was illegal. I don't know how much that would have helped in this case. It was very clear that he broke the law. Like, he evaded police, that, like, the way that it was described as, like, resisting arrest, etc., was that he, you know, he did not pull over for someone that he did know or reasonably should have known was an officer. Because, you know, he was in a marked car with his sirens on, driving behind him, and he sped up. That's breaking of the law. That's a broken law right there. But yeah, after we watched the evidence, the defense attorney, again, bless his heart, like, he really tried to eye in on the possibility that there was another person in the car for some reason. He, like, repeatedly asked the witness, the officer, like, are you sure that there was nobody else in the car? I'm pretty sure, yes. I did not see anybody else in the vehicle. Did you check the vehicle after you arrested the defendant? Yes, there was nobody else there. Okay. I'm clearly stopping someone else just to be safe. I probably would do that too. I absolutely would do that. Like, oh God, there's cops behind me. Oh God, I better pull over. Oh, they're going past me. Well, better safe than sorry. But yeah, the defense attorney really had an uphill battle. And he, like, the questions that he asked really didn't do much in favor of the defendant. Like, I was not convinced. It did not lead to me thinking any differently. But, like, he did what he could, I'm sure. And again, I don't want to make fun of the guy. I don't want to call him a dummy because he's a fucking lawyer. Lawyers are generally intelligent. And he was also very, you know, he was probably in his 60s, possibly 70s. Very experienced lawyer. Excuse me. Probably much smarter than me. Not gonna make fun of him. And this is a bad situation, you know? Not everybody's gonna be able to like, sex their way out of their defendant being considered obviously guilty. And this guy wasn't gonna do that. And I don't blame him for it. So after that, you know, it was, you know, the attorney for the state brought this cop up. We looked at the evidence. The defense attorney did cross-examination. And then we were sent to recess for about 15 minutes. We were brought back in. And then immediately the judge said, like, okay, so there's some things that we need to do outside of the jury's, like, I need to talk to the lawyers outside of the jury's presence. So I'm going to send you all on a lunch break. I was like, okay, lunch break. All right, cool. It's probably going to be a half hour, maybe an hour. It was like 2 hours. 2-hour lunch break. And we're like, wow, that's so much time. That's a huge lunch break. What the fuck am I going to do for 2 hours? So what I did was I went to a Philly cheesesteak place, had a delicious Philly cheesesteak. Well, chicken. Philly chicken. Philly cheese chicken? I've never understood that. I've never understood what to call that sandwich. Because it's like in the style of a Philly cheesesteak, but it's not steak, it's chicken. Because I don't like steak, I like chicken. It was very yummy, it was very tasty. It had a funny name. The place had a very funny name. Michael J. Fox was being a total jerk to the cop that he questioned. I see. Steak refers to the cut, not necessarily the meat. Oh, okay. So it's a chicken cheese steak then. It was okay. I got a Philly chicken Philly chicken cheese chicken steak chicken with green peppers, cheese, and ranch. It would normally come with onions and mushrooms, but I don't like onions or mushrooms, so I didn't have those. It was a very plain sandwich, but it was very tasty, very yummy. Anyway, after that, I wrecked their bathroom and then left. It wasn't that bad, but and I was just walking back. I was just gonna spend the rest of the day like in the common area near the. Oh my god, I can't tell a story with that song. I'm sorry. The song is too sad. But on the way there, I passed by. I don't fucking care. Like, I'm like, I've already told you where I live. So, hey, if you want to come and kidnap me, do it. I walked by a building I could not notice, and that was the Milwaukee Library. I could show you pictures, but it really doesn't do justice how big this library is. Like, this has nothing to do with jury duty. It's just what I did during my lunch break, because it was 2 fucking hours. And once I finished, I wasn't just gonna sit around the Philly cheesesteak place for 2 hours, loitering in their restaurant after I was done eating. So I went back and I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll check out the library. This fucking library is huge. Like, you could probably Google images of it. The fucking, like, Milwaukee Public Library. First of all, it looks old. It's like many buildings in this city. It looks old as hell, and therefore it is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous building on the outside. Then you go inside, and you are just like overwhelmed by the size of this place and just how many fucking books are in there. It's huge. Between the then there's lion statues out there too. Wait, what? I don't know what you were trying to say. Anyway, there was a sign that said that there were over 1 million books at this library, and I fucking believe it. I wouldn't be surprised if there was 2 million books at this library. There's so many books. It was huge. It was 2 stories. There was like a business place that the TARDIS of libraries. Oh no, it looked big on the outside. It looked big on the outside and was big on the inside. Don't you fucking, like, again, Google it. Google the Milwaukee Public Library. You will see the outside of this building. It is a gargantuan building. And there's a gargantuan amount of books in this fucking building. It's crazy. I'm not even a big reader, but man, libraries are really nice. There's so many fucking books on everything you could think of. There's not a lot of manga, though. There was a graphic novel section, and all of the graphic novels, like the American graphic novels and the manga, were all smashed together. And it was like, that's all I would read, personally. And there was, like, I went up to the second floor, and there was not only, like, there was, like, a mini art museum up there of just a bunch of, like, old Milwaukee paintings of Milwaukee. They were really cool. Our friend Doc works at the library. I bet working at this library would be cool as shit. And not only was there that mini art museum, there was also like an entire section I didn't even go down because it was like weirdly intimidating for like business shit. Like, I don't even know what. Like, yeah, it's massive. I told you. I don't even know. You have a cat chomping on your toes? Well, take him to the library and have him chomp on your toes and run around in the Milwaukee Public Library, which is gargantuan and huge. And like, this was the coolest part though. There was one room of the second floor of this library I couldn't go to because it is a sealed room of rare books in a temperature controlled sealed room that you can only enter via appointment. Like, you could be toured around that room, but you can't go in it normally. And I couldn't see anything. The lights were off, no tours were going on, but there was a sign inside the glass explaining what it was. I was like, that is so fucking cool. I kind of want to go back and take that tour. I'm just curious what all these rare old books look like. That's awesome. This place was incredible. It was a gorgeous library, and I've just spent an hour walking around there. You breathe on one of those books and they crumble to dust. Seemed that way. Or rather, I imagine all of these books are like not only old, but probably in excellent condition because they were taken care of. Because this library, like you could tell from the outside, is obviously very old. Like you saw a picture of it. It's clearly a very old building. And another fun part was there was a wall in there of all of the like library directors over the years. And they dated back to like the 1840s. That's how fucking old this library is. Like there's like photos of all of the past directors of this library. And the first one was like something Bates or something. It was this old dude with like a big fucking old timey mustache. And it said that, oh yeah, he was the director of the library from like 1847 to 1862. I was like, this city is has so much history in it. I love this place. I love Milwaukee. It gets such a fucking dog ass rep, and I don't know why. Anyway, that's my library detour from the fucking jury duty's tale. So we get back. Everybody gets back from lunch. We're back to yammering to each other, and then the judge comes in with, I believe, her son. It's like some 13-year-old kid. I assume it's her son. And just starts chatting with us for a second. And then she was like, okay, so again, we're getting y'all back in a little late. But there's a reason for that. The defendant has pled guilty. So you're all done. It's like, yay! So he changed his plea because obviously we were going to find him guilty of at least like 4 out of 5 charges. Probably all 5. And yeah, we chatted with the judge again. She's super cool, super casual, and like invited us to watch the sentencing via Zoom if we wanted, or we can go back to the courthouse and watch it because apparently like these sentencings are just open to the public. You can just go there and watch them. If you have nothing better to do, just go watch someone get sentenced. I'm not interested in that, but I appreciate the invite. And I went home. And that's my jury duty story. It was over very quickly, and I appreciate that. I'm glad I did not have a month-long boring ass insurance trial. I'm glad I got to watch a car chase. I got to witness the legal process in a way I'd not before. It was actually just a very interesting experience. You know, I probably had the best possible jury duty experience, and I'm thankful for that. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it worked out the way it did too. Glad it was short. Glad it was sweet. Glad it was interesting. I am very exhausted though, because again, I walked there both ways, and it was like a 45-minute walk each direction. I could have taken the bus, but I didn't because it was lovely outside. I was like, fuck it, I'll walk. A civil case over a cell phone. That sounds lame. That sounds lame. Nanny boo boo. I got to watch somebody fucking get chased by the cops. Yeah. That was that. I hope that was interesting. Because this was a classic 52-minute Kirlington Quote Factory yap sesh, pre-Kirby yap sesh.